It is a predator film like you've never seen before. I saw this at Hot Docs and it really gets you thinking about the ethics behind creep hunters who post on social media. This follows the story of Jason Nassr, who would pose as teenage girls online in order to catch creeps. I'm sure you've all seen this.
Now, it is not a good film from what I've seen, from what I've heard. And this person is asking you to feel sorry, just like the filmmakers feel sorry for people that would have harmed children online. And they did so because they wanted to have something to exploit. And what they are exploiting is creeper hunter and pedophiles and people that are deceased. That's what they're asking you to do. They're asking you to feel enraged. They're asking you to be divisive. They're asking you to go out on a limb and believe a lot of fallacies. There is not a lot that is truthful in this film. And one of the things that was told to me when we started was that it was going to be truthful. And that's where these filmmakers lied. One of the major lies throughout this film is this idea or this false accusation that I posted some sort of revenge porn of someone. And that someone is Jocelyn Ouimet. Because I was involved in taking her photo on behalf of a company in 2014. Because I did that, and because she signed a release to that effect, for nude photos that she was paid for, because she signed that and I witnessed her do this, and I eventually got into some sort of an intimate relationship with her. She suggests that she had the ability to go back on her release and say that company could not publish. No, it's not my company. But she's suggesting that the company that she gave this release to could no longer have those images and can no longer publish them. She actually says in the film that these photos were published on her Facebook.
There was probably more people than not that saw those pictures who I had on my Facebook. I had never expected that my family would see those pictures.
Meanwhile, she signed a release, a full release. Not only that, she also chose not to exclude a certain territory for viewing those images. And she was paid. And because I was the photographer, she blames me. And now she's in this documentary basically saying, Jason did this and Jason did that. And they're lies. Not only that, But the filmmakers knew about this release and don't talk about it out loud in the film. So in the film, she doesn't say it. The filmmakers don't say it out loud. Nobody says it out loud that she signs the release. But the filmmakers, Matt Gallagher and his disgusting wife, they knew that there was a release signed. I don't know if they have a copy of the release. The release exists, and they knew about it. And here they are talking about the release, sort of misframing it. Now, I don't know if there's some sort of title that says a release was signed or anything like that. I haven't seen the film yet. But as of right now, it's clear to me from listening to the film that there's nowhere that anybody says, oh yeah, I agreed to do these photos. She doesn't say it. She says, this woman, Jocelyn Ouimet, says in the film, she says, I am so glad 10 years later that somebody is doing this documentary to shame Jason, basically. Not to bring about the truth, but to shame me, basically.
I had kept on hearing stories about Jason Nassr when he worked as a photographer, and he would, in Jocelyn...
Stories about me as a photographer. There was a story about me as a photographer getting charged for sexual assault falsely in 2011. That's all people heard about me as a photographer, because I sued the goddamn Windsor Police and won in 2013. And then Jocelyn Ouimet and her friend ran me over with a car. Jaden St. Pierre was driving Jocelyn Ouimet's car at, I don't remember what time in the morning. They were sneaking into my parking lot, damaging my car multiple days in a row. And I kept on making complaints to the police, and they kept doing nothing about it. And finally, I catch them in the act. They had scribbled disgusting things into my vehicle with screwdrivers or keys or whatever, because of the false allegation from 2011. That's the only thing that set them off. And that's the only thing that anybody knows about me and my photography life.
In this case, Jocelyn was on a dating website as an 18 or 19-year-old young woman. And Jason Nassr, the photographer, reached out, I'm paraphrasing here, but said, hi, I'm a photographer. I'm not interested in dating, but you're very beautiful and I'd like to take pictures of you. And so they arranged to meet. And then that relationship quickly became intimate. And Jason took very intimate photos, very graphic photos of her. And when the relationship didn't work out, Jason posted these images online. And not only did he post these very graphic images of her online with her full legal name, he posted the consent form that was signed by her as an 18-year-old saying she consents to these photos on the same webpage. It was.
So I didn't publish these. The company that had the rights to her image, who had full legal right to her image, posted them because she wanted to be getting paid on a residual basis.
You know what? I'll do whatever the fuck you want, and I'll never fucking contact me again. You're the biggest asshole I've ever met.
She wanted to be doing YouTube videos and becoming a content creator, and this company, through me, was helping her do that. And she was getting paid. And yes, we eventually were, quote unquote, intimate. But that's beside the point. That has absolutely nothing to do with the release. She says somebody posted these photos on her Facebook. Nobody posted them on her Facebook. Certainly wasn't me. It certainly wasn't anybody that I know or anybody at my direction. She is a fucking liar. When the police found her and Jaden St. Pierre after they ran me over with a car. They intentionally ran me over with a car. They lawyered up and gave a statement in writing to the police. And through the lawyer, they said that Jason threw himself on their vehicle and there is a handprint on the hood of her car, damage to her car, when she is in the parking lot at my apartment complex. And the police did nothing about them running me over. And I eventually brought civil criminal charges. I brought a private information charging both of these women for assault with a weapon, among other things, leaving the scene of a crime, of an accident, etc. And eventually the Crown withdrew those charges against them. And they have been bitter ever since. I have had multiple interactions with them, and on multiple times, it has just been vitriol.
Who's your daughter, huh? No. Get the fuck away from me! Get away from me!
I don't have to.
Get away from me! You're obsessed! I saw you drive by 3 times, you stupid idiot!
But it had nothing, I had nothing to do with the publishing of those photos of her. She signed a release, and she knew exactly what that release was. And that's why she's going to be included in this lawsuit that I am suing these filmmakers for, because she knew, and they ought to have known, what was behind these lies. And purporting these lies to be true, they are going to be held accountable in a civil courtroom. This story is far from over.